exciting panel and a showcase for you rather than a panel this afternoon. So I'm really delighted to introduce our three panellists. So we have got three people who are disabled activists and do media work. So Lee Ellery has got a programme Spotlight on Disability on Swan TV, and Lee will be telling you a little bit more about that shortly. And then we've got Sarah Pickard, who is working with Mencap Cymru, and Selina Kaiman, who's the founder director of the Aubergine Cafe. So I know that we're going to be enthralled for the next half an hour. Applause, a round of applause. I can't get my words out. Warm round of applause for our three showcase panellists.
Well, thank you everyone for inviting me here today to speak. I've been involved in the media in various ways for the last few years. I would say going back as far as 2003. After the International Congress of Young Disabled People, which some of you are familiar with. But with my show, In the Spotlight with Lee Ellery, it's basically showing the positive stories of disabilities and what people face, especially within what we've been discussing today, primarily. But like I was saying to some of the people, because I've been interviewing all day, I've been in and out interviewing people all day. And like I've said to every one of them, what can we do to improve the way the perception of disabled people is more visible within the media? And this is where I think my show on Swan TV shines a light on that. And a very positive one. This panel session is being filmed today to go in as part of my show, which is number 10. I've done 10 shows since I've launched the show on the 27th of June. And over that time, I feel very privileged to be able to front the show, to give people a platform to let them speak for themselves on how their disability makes them feel. And the short video, 90 seconds of it, and you'll hear a bit more from me after the video has been shown. The short video is my first show that I did, which I focused on disability, but in particular in the arts section. So if we can play the video, please. What better way to start than talk about disability in the arts and the media?
If a company has not worked with a disabled creative before, they just don't know how to put things in place that we need.
I don't want to just play the disabled character. I can play just a normal person who happens to have a disability.
So an exercise is a document containing all the things that I need to work successfully in that environment. And you might change it from job to job. There's another thing whether they read it. I don't know if you have this really central access right and you get there and it's obvious that they haven't looked at it. No. There's still a very medical model outlook from the industry. And a lack of understanding of the social model, the lack of implementation of social model practices in order to enable that inclusion.
If these companies don't have disability awareness training or awareness of the actor before they turn up, like you were saying just now, then you're in a bit of a sticky situation, aren't you? Well, I should have introduced who I was actually interviewing. Sorry, I got I lost off track then. But I was actually interviewing a playwright in his own right, Kieran Fitzgerald. I don't know if some people are familiar with Kieran. And you might recognize the name Cara Jane Riedel, who was played a character called Layla in Tracy Beaker from series 1 to series number 5. And what came across to me during that interview, I think people have touched on it all through the day. The media is looking at disabled people in a negative way. And if there's one thing that my show will do, is to try and educate people like the big media organizations, some of whom are here today, and I know if they're not here, they've sent their colleagues here, because I've seen a few of them around. It's my responsibility, I feel, to cover the stories that they're not covering. And if I can be totally honest with you, I haven't covered a negative story yet. They've all been positive. I was saying to Rachel earlier on, over lunch, I'll try and make my program as positive as I can, and I will speak for the media industry through my program to the best of my ability. Thank you for listening.
Thank you, Lee. That was really interesting, and you're always so passionate, so thank you. So, hello everyone. I'm Sarah Picard, and I, like Lee, have also got a video I'd like to show you all before we then go on and tell you about the very exciting 5 weeks I had working with ITV Cymru Wales. So I think the video will say it all, but I'll come in and I'll feel it a little bit after the video.
Coming to an end.
Yes.
How has these last few weeks been? Because you've done so much, haven't you?
It's definitely been an adventure of a lifetime. I like to think of it like that. I think being involved with so much different aspects of the media that I don't necessarily always think about when I watch the telly. So for me, I think seeing that side of ITV Cymru Wales has taught me a whole different world of just watching ITV on telly.
And I'm trying to think of all the things you've done. You co-presented Sharp End with me.
Yes, that was one of my highlights by far.
One of my highlights too. and you've met all the team behind the scenes, people like Owain, who produces the programme.
Yeah, Owain is fab. He always makes me feel welcome.
And you've seen I work with a few of the reporters, and you've done some public affairs work for us.
I have.
So everybody, we've been to the Eisteddfod and to the...
And to the Royal Welsh.
What was that like?
It was really, really interesting and great, great, great fun.
Because you had to meet loads of people, didn't you?
I did, yes. I think I've done quite a bit of networking. So I think being in the Royal Welsh and talking to members of the Senedd, I felt really at ease and really enjoyed that experience, really. What have you learned from having me at ITV Cymru Wales?
I think we've all collectively learned so much, and I think it's what you were saying earlier on about seeing the person, not the disability. And a lot of people in here will not have come across many people in their life with a learning disability. And so you are an ambassador for all the people out there.
Bye, guys! But I'll be back. So, from that video then, you just got a very quick snapshot there of exactly just how much it really meant to me to be involved in the fantastic work of ITV Cymru Wales. And one thing I loved about that month was making sure that I was included in as many different aspects of the work of ITV Cymru Wales from the very beginning. So all the meetings, I put myself forward, I'd never say no. So I wanted to be in all the meetings, and as I said, the Royal Welsh, what an amazing couple of days, helping out with people coming into the ITV stand, having a go on the news desk, and reading from the auto cue. So we had amazing photos of young people coming in and giving it a go to literally anyone. So that was fantastic. I love the social element. I am a very sociable person. I love people. So ITV Cymru Wales are, in my opinion, I'm not going to get emotional when I say this, but they are absolutely superstars. I love every single one of them. So we're spending time, lunchtimes, just kind of eating our lunch together, being in an amazing, fun, bubbly office space. I absolutely love that element. And I now work back at Mencap Cymru, but we do have a strong partnership with ITV Cymru Wales. So that means that a lot of our work that we do around media training, that comes through ITV, and then we in Mencap are also heavily involved in all of that. I love doing social media. So I love doing the social media videos every day when I remember to do them. I should say that. And one thing I love doing, so I put together a package for our Learning Disability Week. So that involved me interviewing, I think it was 4 different people, and that was then part of ITV's News at 6, and I co-presented a political debate show called Sharp End. So I don't know if anyone's heard of Sharp End, with the fantastic, I should say that, fantastic Rob Osborne. He's killing me for not saying that, but that was a really meaningful part of my secondment, because it was actually about the 40 years of the All of Wales strategy to close down the institutions where people with disabilities did sadly live majorities of their lives. We're wanting to move away from that model, so we have more community-led accommodation for people, so we don't put them in a box, we don't put them into institutions, we let them have a voice. And I'm really passionate about that because it was actually 40 years of that strategy. And I'm 40 this coming Sunday, so it's relevant to me. It would have been my life in an institution if I was born earlier. So, yeah, really emotional attachment to that. So I loved heading up that package. It was fantastic. And editing programmes, I'd never even known what goes into putting ITV programmes together. So I learnt about that as well. So I can remember very vividly my first day of that secondment. I was very nervous, and it was slightly stressful. I didn't quite know what was going to happen. But very quickly I thought, you know what, I'm just going to throw myself into this. And I absolutely loved it. Sometimes to flower it up is great, but on a serious side, I think sometimes, like today, we've had comfort breaks. I think when you're in a meeting, it's good to have breaks, if it's virtual as well as in person. Put the camera off, grab a coffee, whatever it is. That was something that I learned through ITV, is it's okay to stand up and say, maybe you can do things this way. that might help a person who's got a learning disability to fully be included in all areas. So, and another thing then, so through a partnership, and I know that ITV Cymru Wales learned a lot from having me with them, and vice versa. So I know that, for example, when it comes to media programmes, they need to be written from the beginning and presented by people who've got a learning disability. That's key. I think if people who've got a learning disability are in the forefront of whatever it is, whether it's media, whatever it might be, that's the visibility that is going to be crucial for absolutely anything. So I have notes in front of me, and I'm trying not to look at them, but to sum it all up, all I'm going to say is I owe ITV Cymru Wales everything. I absolutely loved my month with them. I'm back at Man Cup Cymru now, and our partnership with ITV is going to continue to thrive and continue to grow. So thank you, thank you, thank you. And I'll shut up now. I've waffled on for far too long. But thank you, everyone.
We could listen to you for ages. My turn. I'm going to stand if that's okay. I'm a communicator. I used to call myself a writer because I can write very well, apparently, but not without a lot of distress. And so I'm like, I'm just going to avoid writing as much as I can, and I'm just going to tell people, if you want to work with me, which I know you do, then you're going to have to figure out a way to make it so that I don't have to write so much. I did do some writing, but you probably can't see it. It's lots of different notes all over the place. So we're going to have a little bit of an ADHD, dyslexia. You get what I mean, yeah, this whole thing going on. I was going to show you a little video, but you can find that on the BBC. Yes, on the Invisible Disabilities programme we were talking about earlier. So I think mine's episode 3. But instead of doing that, I thought what I'd do is perhaps give you 2 truths and a lie. So I'm going to say 3 things. 2 of them are going to be true, at least from my perspective. 1 of them is going to be a lie. I'd love to know which one you think it is. Number 1, I'm a role model. Number 2, I'm an accidental, charismatic cult leader. And number 3, I'm an elder in my community. That means I'm one of the older people in my community, one of the people who has been through a lot and seen some things, but also there aren't actually that many people older than me in my community. So 2 of those things are true, and 1 is a lie. Any guesses? Which one is the lie?
I've actually got a theory that all of them are true.
I like this. I like this theory. I like that
Because
theory.
I'm a dyslexic.
Maybe not the cult. Maybe not the cult.
Yeah, not the cult.
Does anyone here think that I am an accidental cult leader? Megan, you know the answer to this. No, that's true. It's true. I'm an accidental cult leader. I've managed to kind of create this niche, this organisation, Aubergine Cafe, of neurodivergent people who kind of don't really fit into the other neurodivergent spaces. Can I just say, though, oh gosh, I'm shaking. I don't usually get nervous. This must mean a lot to me. I'm practicing having emotions and sitting with them at the same time. Really hard for me. If you work in media, you know this already, but loads of people in your team are ADHD, and it's one of those industries. And yes, tech desk. I'm looking over there. I go straight to the tech desk to have all the interesting conversations, because that's where all the neurodivergent. Sorry for outing you all. I'm never wrong. Highly unethical to armchair diagnose, but it's true. I'm never wrong. But no, I've somehow got myself into a position where I'm being called a leader, and I don't really see myself as the sort of leader who sort of takes over and tells people what to do. I really hate telling people what to do. I love asking the right questions so that people can come up with their own answers, because I know that whatever problem you have, you've got the answer inside of you, and I want to talk to you about it. I never want to tell people how to think. Unfortunately, as an activist, that's kind of what people come to you for. They want to know what you think because they want to know how they can perhaps avoid having those difficult conversations where they might say the wrong thing and then get cancelled and this and that. And I know, because I have that same fear. Trying not to swear. It's okay if I swear. Maybe. I was homeless when I started Aubergine Cafe, and it was that situation, that being at my own personal rock bottom, which meant that I was able to take a risk. Most people who I know in my community are not in the position to be able to take some time out to work on their own creative, go for that they know is just going to be so difficult, because if they ask for reasonable adjustments, then everyone in the office is going to hate them because they're like, well, why can't I have noise cancelling headphones? And it's lost my train of thought. This is going to happen a few times, so you'll get used to it. This is why I need an editor and a writer. Anyone? So we're a cafe, but the cafe is a tool. It's a space where people can come and be all of their identities at once without having to switch their hat. For me, I mean, if you want me on your team, I tick a lot of boxes in your equality and diversity like criteria stuff, and I'm looking at you again. Sorry. Go on. But I've got so much more to say, and what we wanted to do is really create safe spaces. And in a little way, I feel like, oh gosh, sorry. I knew it was going to be emotional, but I'm just going to move on to the next point. I am an elder in my community. Trigger warning. Feel free to get up and run if you want. But in the last few years, we've had 3 deaths by suicide in our community. And autistic people are a huge, like 7 to 10 times more likely to die by suicide than the general population. When you consider that we make up about 1% by current statistics, we're massively overrepresented, as we are in homelessness and drug addiction. Aubergine Cafe used to be next door to a hostel for people who were just coming out of prison or are in recovery from addiction, sometimes still very much in addiction. And I know that people would stand outside our cafe and go, oh, well, look at all the autistics, doing great things for themselves. And then next door, it's like, well, how did you get into your situation? And I'm like, we're the same people, divided by circumstance. So as an activist, it's my role really to talk about trauma, to talk about tragedy. But our tragedy isn't being disabled at Aubergine Cafe. Our tragedy is that we are the venue and caterer of choice for young neurodivergent people who die by suicide in South Wales. We are who they come to. I'm supporting people in their 20s who are organising community activities to come together for remembrances, coming together for making burial arrangements. This shouldn't be happening. We're dying and we're trying to keep ourselves alive, each other alive. think the life expectancy for an autistic person is about, the maximum I've found is about 58. I'm 41. For a trans person, it's 28. I'm in my later years in my community. That's a tragedy. And I feel like we're not having these difficult conversations. I'm going to come to number 3, which was actually the first one I said. I'm a role model. I'm not role modeling. Because when I get a lot of attention from me, we all do at Aubergine Cafe. We're approached all the time by radio and film documentary makers, newspapers and so on. But the story that you're hearing, one of the reasons I actually chose not to show any of the video was that actually that is a snapshot. These are some of the difficult things that happened, and then this is the wonderful thing that came out of it. I'm really struggling. I've done this for 5 years, and I don't want to be an activist. I'm a creator. I don't get to create. I know exactly what I need in order to be able to create. I know what my barriers are, if you like. But when I was sat here and looking at the panel earlier, I had a sudden realization. It's like, I don't think I could work for broadcast media. Like, this is all great. I'd love to come and have conversations with you and help you with some of the questions that you have. But I don't think I could have a job with you. I don't think that you'd be able to put up with me. That's how I feel. And so I'm doing what a lot of neurodivergent people do, going self-employed. So I'm going to be taking my own creative steps journey because I want to be the role model that I never got to see for myself. And I'm not doing that by just creating some options for some other people and we're all still struggling and keeping each other alive. No. We need to thrive. We need to start thriving. I don't know how to work with you as broadcasters. I've got so many ideas and contacts and I've been doing a lot of work. I'm really, really stuck. How can I be that role model? If I can't find a way in, how can I expect everyone who's coming to Aubergine for their first opportunity to, We need to know what those professional steps look like. And when our stories are about us and our stories and being neurodivergent and disabled and queer and so on, it's the incidental part of the story or the part where we can go, oh, what brings us together? What are the things that really connect us as humans? Then that's when we're going to be role modeling. For me, what art is using creativity to invoke emotion in someone. I sense that you're feeling something right now, so and feelings are hard, so I didn't think how I was going to end this. Okay, yeah, I think next steps for me is that I'm tired of spreading awareness. I don't know about a lot of people here. We're aware already. What are the next steps? What are those difficult conversations? And is there anyone who's willing to have those difficult conversations, to role model what making mistakes in public looks like? Because we're all terrified. And we need to role model what it looks like to overcome those mistakes. What is the path out? So that people are willing to actually take some risk and do it in a way where it's okay, and knowing that you making a mistake is a good thing for other people to see and for other people to learn from. It's really hard for me to feel embarrassed, so I'm happy to make those mistakes for you. But I think that's where we're at. We need to go below surface level, and yeah, that's... I'm Selina Kaimaur, Shemai.